Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the combined 2020 and 2021 Champions Awards ceremony. I am delighted that voluntary sector partner Carl Wilding and I are here to share with you the amazing achievements of 23 outstanding champions, each making a difference through Rotary or wider community service activity. 2020 was a challenging year, and it was a great disappointment not to have been able to celebrate the achievements of our awardees at the Volunteer Expo Awards evening. But tonight, Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland will recognise and celebrate both the 2020 and 2021 year groups. And I know you're going to be blown away by the incredible individuals supporting others in times of need. Carl, welcome to the stage. How are things this evening for you?
Hi, Amanda. I'm very good. I'm currently in Mumbles in South Wales, for those of you that know that. So good evening, everyone. And can I just say, first of all, what a privilege it is to be here, both with our champions and with you, Amanda. Can I echo, Amanda, your point that the last 18 months have been really difficult for lots of people. They've been life-changing in so many ways. But from what I've seen, we're going to hear tonight from Rotarians who are changing people's lives for the better. I often hear about how Rotary people are described as people of action, and I think the stories that you're all going to hear tonight show that that's never been more true. So, everyone, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland's 2020 president and presenter of the 2020 awards, Donna Wallbank.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Carl. Thank you. So, friends of Rotary and my Rotary friends, thank you for joining us, as Amanda said, at the Virtual Champions of Change Awards for 2020 and 2021. You are rightly people of action in varied and many different ways, and you deserve tonight's accolade of being a champion. I'm honoured to be part of the late, but by no means forgotten 2020 presentations. You are each, as individuals and collectively, people who have created change, and you've made possible that change for so many people and communities. And I extend my heartfelt thanks to you all on behalf of all of those people that have never got the chance to say thank you to them, to you themselves. Your collective responsibility to the projects and the passion to make a difference has changed lives, and you have built stronger communities. And importantly, I believe you develop change within people, and with that change, no doubt, comes a stronger urge to do more yourself and to help more people in very many different ways. And that extends from the youngest child to the eldest individual within the community in which you serve or where you deliver projects, because you're leaving a legacy, but you're also leaving a challenge for others to grow and to follow in your example. I also think that your example and your tenacity has set wheels in motion, and those wheels each have been pushed around by cogs, which have given momentum and created hope and possibilities for those to have their lives change further and to hopefully have others emulate and do what you have started. And that can be from the change in lives, from the goats in Yorkshire that I was privileged to see during my journeys in the year as president, or through to the sand dams, which really have brought water to those people that need it because of a vision. Because people like you saw problems, but you looked for solutions and you mobilized people to help, or you simply nagged or cajoled, or you but sometimes probably begged somebody for help, but to change the situation that they had found themselves in. You have, I am sure, never calculated that personal cost to you, though, or to your family, because the price we all pay to be in our communities is to give service and to create, we hope, that long-lasting change. As Amanda said, we saw communities that were fearful last year, but we've come together, and you as winners have come together, and I'm incredibly proud of your achievements and to be here at this celebration and recognition of all that you have done. People like you have the power to change the world. You as one make a difference. But collectively, we each are stronger when we work together, and we're seeing that. Your actions as individuals and with your projects and your passion have left a life-changing impact, and your future actions, I am sure, will strengthen the community that we live in, as our world is our community. But importantly, your service is invaluable, and my thanks is literal reward. But let us be honest, you don't do what you've done for a reward. You do it because you believe that you must do what you do. Your service tonight is recognised as you become one of Rotary and Great Britain and Ireland's champions. And please continue to be strong, stay safe and enjoy this brief time together as we applaud and recognise the change you've made. Amanda and Carl, back to you.
That's fantastic. You're already making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up in excitement. So, everyone, as you've already heard, each year, Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland recognise the outstanding voluntary service given by Rotary members and the public through the prestigious Champions Award. And that's why we're here tonight. The Champions of Change Award is given in recognition of service given by Rotary members. So, without further ado, let's meet our first Champion of Change from 2020. Amanda.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Donna. It is with great delight that I welcome this evening Izzy Sanderson from the Rotary Ainsty, from York Ainsty Rotary Club. Thank you. I'm hoping that Izzy is able to join us by just switching on that camera and having the confidence of the Zoom evening affair that we are. Thank you, Izzy. Lovely to see you this evening. Izzy has drawn on her experience from living and working in developing countries where she ran self-help projects in poor communities to help tackle the suffering of girls and women who do not have access to feminine hygiene products. The Yorkits project runs hands-on workshops where volunteers come together to make washable and easy to use feminine hygiene kits so girls who often don't attend school whilst menstruating can have access to uninterrupted schooling. Yorkits has helped to highlight the issue of period poverty overseas and in the UK. The kits have changed lives, particularly in Africa and Asia. Izzy, Donna will now pass your award to you through the wonders of technology. Here we go. So hopefully, Izzy, you're on the receiving end of a certificate of appreciation. That's amazing. And I hope also, as for all of our winners, you managed to access through the wonders of the computer screen a little glass of coffee and an engraved glass. Izzy, great to have you here this evening. What do you feel about sort of having been recognised for your work?
Well, I feel it's a great honor, and for that I'm giving you all great thanks. But I feel it's not just myself who is a champion of change. I think of all the participants, the hundreds of women who have come to our workshops, especially our annual one in York Minster, where hundreds of women come and beaver away making the kits, but also to the women overseas whom we've seed funded to start self-help community projects. They are the champions of change as well. They're making amazing difference in their own communities.
That's marvellous, Izzy. Thank you so much, and how gracious to recognise all your colleagues and those people that have beavered away to make this project possible. So my congratulations to you, Izzy.
So it's now my pleasure to welcome James Onions, who's been nominated by Kew Gardens Rotary Club. So James has been instrumental in the Sand Dams project, which provide dryland communities in poor areas of the world access to safe and clean water. The project, delivered in collaboration with the charity Excellent Development, recognises that communities in dryland areas of the world are often living in poverty, with women and children walking 5 hours per day in dangerous conditions to access unsafe water. From this initiative, over 100,000 people in dryland communities have access to safe water with Rotary's support. The impact on communities has been enormous, with a reduction in waterborne diseases, an increase in education rates, and an overall development of local economies. So, James, can you now please get ready to receive your award certificate from Donna?
I don't know how you got the frame down the line.
James, that's absolutely fantastic. And to do something at such scale, you must feel enormous pride at the difference that you've made.
Yeah, I do feel very proud, and receiving this honour is very important. However, it's an honour that should be shared with many others involved. You've got to bear in mind, we've had 20 of our districts involved. We've had about 250 clubs. We've had a whole network of Sandem enthusiasts all over Britain and Ireland, and we've invested about £1 million. Now, that actually works out at £10 per person for water for life, which to me is a bit of a bargain. And it really changes the level that the people there can achieve. It opens them up, it gives them opportunity. So there's hope and opportunity. And today, on a note of environment, it also reverses climate change. All of the places we're working in suffer from desertification, and this reverses desertification. So yeah, it's great to have been involved.
James, that is a fantastic story of people coming together, and I love your words about hope and opportunity. So on behalf of everyone, can I say thank you and congratulations? Well,
thank you. And thanks everyone who's been involved.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, James. Amanda.
Thank you. And our next champion of change is Dr. Vitrual from Sedgley and Wombourne Rotary Club. Dr. Vicar, I hope you're able to switch on your camera and come and share in this celebration moment. Whilst you're doing that, let me tell you a little bit. Dr. Vicar has been using his knowledge and expertise from being an orthopaedic surgeon to fit free artificial limbs on the amputees post-earthquake in Pakistan. Over the years, he has volunteered and given his services free to help people suffering from amputees within this country. The prosthetic limbs are manufactured using indigenous low-cost materials, such as high-density plastic drain pipes from the local area, at a fraction of the cost of prosthetic limbs produced in the UK. To date, he has fitted artificial limbs to over 10,000 people. If not for his work and dedication, many thousands of young people would not be able to walk and lead a relatively normal life. Dr. Vicar, it is with enormous pleasure that I ask President Donna to pass to you your certificate of recognition as a champion of change. So hopefully you can receive it your side. Yay, well done. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Dr. Vicar, this concept of producing prosthetic limbs, obviously your background came into play here, but tell us just a little bit about the inspiration that took you down this pathway.
Well, the inspiration is the earthquake in 2005, when we had at least 98,000 immediately dead after the 7.8 Richter scale. And you can imagine how many amputees, if it's a million dead, then how many amputees. So it is just the tip of the iceberg, and loads and loads more to do. And that's only one country, India and Pakistan, Kashmir. So it is third world countries like 20 years of civil war in Sri Lanka, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. So this goes on and on. So yeah, thank you very much, Rotary, but there's loads more to do.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. The need is enormous on a global scale. And, you know, like you, I've experienced the aftermath out in Pakistan, and the work that you've done is just phenomenal. The difference that you've made to people's lives there is truly amazing. So thank you so much. Please keep being an inspiration, keep being a champion of change. And I look forward to hearing about further successes through your Rotary service.
So everyone, my pleasure now is to invite our fourth award winner, who is Val Levers from Sherwood Sunrisers Rotary Club. Val, I love those pictures, but more in a moment. So Val's demonstrated an unwavering passion and commitment to help build a future for some of the poorest people in India by fundraising for valuable equipment to the Sri Sai Vidyarthi School in Secunderabad. When Val first visited in 2009, over 1,300 multicultural disadvantaged boys and girls between the ages of 3 and 16 were being taught in English in inadequate premises with few facilities or equipment. But that's now changed. School has good learning environment. The infrastructure is sound and safe. The classrooms are well equipped and the children have uniforms and shoes. Consequently, and perhaps unsurprisingly, results have improved and the school has recently received an award for being in the top 5 in the state. So it gives me a huge amount of pleasure to ask Donna to award Val her certificate as a champion of change for 2020. Donna.
Yeah, I've got the certificate without it.
Those pictures look absolutely fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your most recent journey to the school.
Yes, I went. I went in January, February in 2020, and I just got out in time not to be still in India. I would have still been there if I was there for a week longer. So yeah, from going from nothing really, 100 children sitting under a bit of tin. It was very, very hot in the summer, very wet in the monsoon. We've now got a floor building, proper classrooms. We're one of the only schools that have a proper fire regulations. Everything is as it should be, and there's now 1,500 children there, and it is now the most amazing school. And they've heard this week, which I think is amazing, one of the first people that we actually sponsored when we started off with 2 boys, Aravind now has been offered a place at university, and because he's below poverty line now, the government will pay for him, and that is just from this poor little lad with nothing. He's now going to university to do commerce. So the difference he can make, and that's what it's all about, is giving them the opportunities to change their lives forever.
The passion and the enthusiasm clearly come through in the way that you talk about this, Val. Tell me, what are you going to do next?
Right, well, this year, because luckily the international president is Indian, which is quite convenient, and he's got empowering girls. So within the district, our district governor has decided to use my school, and we're going to introduce vocational work for the girls from years 8 to 10. We're going to put in tailoring, and we're going to get people to sponsor a girl for 3 years, which will mean that they're safe for 3 years. And it also includes a sewing machine. And then as they leave school, set up cooperatives for those that want to start a business, which means they've not got to get married, pushed into a marriage at 16, or they will try and get a college there for girls, especially, so that we can get them through to college and then perhaps a few more to university. But the main thing is to empower the girls and give them the chance to make choices rather than have to be pushed into something that they really don't want to do.
Val, this is brilliant. And everyone, one at the beginning, all of us talked about life-changing work. This is the definition of life-changing stuff. Val, congratulations and thanks on behalf of everybody here this evening.
And thank you very much for recognising it.
I don't know how you feel, Carl, but I'm just blown away by everything that's being, shared with us this evening. These projects are phenomenal, and the individual members behind the original concepts, wow, they're just awe-inspiring. And our next awe-inspiring individual is Sheena Nelson from Helensburgh, Gairlochside Rotary Club, and we're going to see Sheena's video first. Welcome, Sheena. You have shown huge dedication to the community by campaigning to make the public aware of the need to take action and improve survival rates following heart attacks and cardiac arrests. In Helensburgh, the chance of surviving cardiac arrest was poor, with no programme or training in preventative skills. You have personally led training sessions each week and arranged for raising funds for purchasing and maintaining community defibrillators. Since 2016, over 5,000 people have been trained to deliver CPR and to use the 200 defibrillators that have been installed. People trained by this project have saved 22 lives that otherwise may have been lost. That is a phenomenal achievement. Sheena, tell us a little bit more about what you've been doing. And I think some of those pictures where we saw children, I'm really intrigued. Tell us how you've engaged with the younger population, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, friends, I have been delighted to be recognised in this way and given such a prestigious award. The recent incident where Christian Eriksen, a member of the Danish team, collapsed during Euro 2020 football match shows that even young, healthy individuals can suffer a sudden cardiac arrest. Out-of-hospital cardiac arrest don't stop during a pandemic, and CPR remains a critical part of increasing the survival rates. Different aspects of our lives have been affected by the pandemic, but you know it's strange. Everything is different, but everything's the same. You still speak to your granny, but you chat to her on Zoom. You go to the shops, but you wear a mask. And we all continually adapt to the ever-changing circumstances, and CPR is no different. The guidance for CPR has been amended slightly, but what remains the same is that we have the power to save a life. The general assumption is that if you're going to use CPR, it will be with a stranger, but 9 times out of 10, it'll be a member of your own family. That's why it's essential that Heart Start defibrillator awareness training is a vital part of the school curriculum to prepare pupils of today who are the Rotarians of tomorrow to save a life. On several occasions, it's a child who recognises that emergency. The primary 7 who recognises that dad doesn't have indigestion, he's having a heart attack. The 8-year-old little boy that you saw in the picture, who actually saves his 2-year-old sister's life from choking. And the pupil who returns home to find Granny unconscious on the kitchen floor and turns her into the recovery position. And when Grandad dropped dead on the way from the car park after the supermarket shop, his 16-year-old granddaughter asked someone to dial 999 while she begins CPR. And another shopper who has been trained stops to share the CPR with her while she runs for the defib in the car park. And by the time the paramedics arrive on scene, she has delivered the first shot. These are the real examples which show that training gives people of all ages confidence and skills to deal with an emergency. These are our heroes. The power to save a life is in your hands. Please use them. And thank you again for this prestigious award. It's not just for me, it's for all of the team who have made this possible. Thank you.
Absolutely, Sheena. And I'm going to invite Donna to just unmute her mic and just say a few words as she passes your certificate of recognition across to you. So Donna, I know that this is a project close to your own heart as well.
It really is, Sheena. Having installed some community defibrillators in my own area and my son educating people in our community, I agree with everything you've said, and I urge everybody to do as you've urged them to do, because we can save lives and we can make a difference just as you have. Congratulations and thank you on behalf of all of those lives that you've saved. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that this the idea of Rotary clubs getting behind the defibrillator installation, but importantly, training is growing in across Great Britain and most definitely. So you really are modelling the way in which we can make a difference and we can save lives within our own community. Thank you so much, Sheena. Congratulations to you. Carl, over to you.
Thank you, Amanda. So now already we're over to our final Champion of Change awardee from 2020. So in a moment, you're going to hear from Gloria Nichols, who's from Brentwood Breakfast Rotary Club. So Gloria has been instrumental in supporting Mary's Meals, a charity I'm sure many of you will have heard of that provides one good meal to some of the world's poorest children every school day. Helping to promote the backpack project across her region, Gloria's coordinated efforts to provide school backpacks kitted with everything a child may need during a school day, including educational items, clothing and water bottles. I should say my wife is a teacher and she tells me all the time about how important that good start is for the start of the day. This year, over 200 backpacks were sent overseas to children receiving Mary's Meals, particularly in Zambia. And Mary's Meals have expressed their grateful thanks to Gloria for all of her incredible efforts. So, if at this point, Donna, please could you pass over Gloria's 2020 Champion of Change Award, please, Donna?
There we go, Gloria. Thank you.
Can you see it?
We just about saw that then. I think Gloria. Yeah, I'm really impressed, everyone. I know that you're people of action, but it includes being people of action when it comes to framing your certificates. It's hugely impressive. Gloria, where did your energy and your inspiration come from to do this?
Well, first of all, I'm delighted to receive this award for something I love doing. And I couldn't do it without the help of our Rotary Club in Brentwood, and also the support of the Rotary clubs in our district, 1240. Their continued support, I'm so grateful for. And of course, it brings the district together, this project, and it's also recycling. So that's really good as well. Mary's Meals has been a charity close to my heart for the last 10 years. And today, Mary's Meals provides nutritious daily meals, as Carla's said, for nearly 2 million children across 4 continents, encouraging them to attend school. And of course, it's an opportunity to take them out of poverty forever to get a good education. I'm a proud supporter of this amazing charity and thank Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland for their recognition, and also to our DG for putting us forward. And I see Gerard's just come up, who is our local link for Mary's Meals. Thank you, Gerard.
That's absolutely fantastic, Gloria. And when you say that you love it, just give us all a taste of what it is that you love about it so much, because I can clearly hear from your voice that you love it.
Yeah, I love getting the pictures back from the children receiving their backpacks. It's just amazing project, and it's such a simple idea to feed children in their place of education and to provide these backpacks. It's not a scientific thing. It's so easy to do, and I love it. You can tell.
Well, that love and that enthusiasm is infectious, Gloria, and that's one of the things that you've given us tonight. So can I say thank you and congratulations on behalf of everyone here tonight.
Thank you for the parcel as well. I'm going to have a sip now.
Good for you, Gloria. Amanda, over to you.
Fantastic, and I'm really pleased to see that Gloria is getting into the spirit of the gift that was sent across, so that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, we have seen all of our Champions Awards, and we're now going to move into our Community Champions. And this award is given to members of the public who've been recognised by their local Rotary Club for outstanding service. So it's amazing, really, that not only can we get together within our own community of Rotary, but actually we expand and we look outwards, and we know that collaboration is key to the success of the voluntary and community sector. So I'm delighted to start this recognition of our community champions with our first awardee, Peter Swan. Well, as you can see, Peter's been very, very busy, and I'm hoping that somewhere in the ether there, he's able to switch on his camera and join us. Good evening, Peter. Delighted to have you with us this evening. Peter's been nominated by a Middlesbrough Eramus Rotary Club, and he's devoted the past 15 years to transforming the education situation in Mezerani, Tanzania, after an expedition there in 2004 inspired him to help make a difference. Primary school pupils were not able to access a full education, with no local secondary school and no opportunities for young people to progress to further and higher education. Today, the project has completely transformed Mezerani. There are now 4 primary schools, and building work on the secondary school has begun, so students are able to progress to further and higher education via a sponsorship programme that Peter manages. The schools have access to clean water, solar power, and a medical centre providing free healthcare. This is really an amazing turnkey solution to supporting an environment for children to be educated within their own village area. Peter, wonderful to hear about what you've achieved. Would you be good enough to share with us a little bit about the experience that you've had managing and running this project, please?
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Good evening, everybody. I actually didn't prepare anything deliberately for this moment. I thought I'd respond and react to what's happened in the evening. And I've just focused on one thing that does give me a lot of pleasure. It's mentioned right from the start in the introduction, where somebody talked about everybody working collectively and what we can achieve collectively. And I think that's come through right through all the responses from the recipients. It's not just about the recipients, it's about the collective response from everybody that's been involved, everyone supported them. And I think that's epitomised in one component of our charity, which you've mentioned, where we sponsor people to go through secondary education, A-levels, and even to university. And our youngest and oldest sponsor, the youngest one, was an 8-year-old girl who got leukemia. She was successfully treated at Newcastle RVI, and she decided that she'd been given her life back, and the response was she wanted to give somebody else a life back. And she sponsored a girl to go through secondary education. And our oldest sponsor is a 94-year-old lady who's housebound, but she can still knit. And she knits woolen slippers. And she sponsored, with the money that she's raised with that, she sponsored 3 people to go through secondary school and 2 of them to go through further education. So yeah, it's just, yes, tonight's about the recipients, but I think what's coming through from all of us is it's a collective thing, and it's about the support we receive from people, you know, in our local community, but also perhaps throughout the UK as well. So yeah, a big thank you to everybody for that.
Oh, that's amazing, Peter, and so true in terms of the collective impact, you know, the power of change when people come together and work to support one another. You know, humanity would be so much stronger if this was happening everywhere. And I've seen comments coming up in the chat box there about, you know, well done, you're changing a community, such an impact, such an inspiration, and it's so true. And so before we pass over to Carl, let's just ask Donna to please award you with your Champions Recognition.
There we go. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Peter. Have a super. And Carl, welcome back. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Amanda. Our next community champion is Ash Razak, who's been nominated by Rotary Club of Roundhay. We'll hear from Ash in a moment, just after this video. So Ash has been working tirelessly on Catch for over 10 years to improve the lives of young people in the heart of a challenging and diverse area of Leeds. The principle of Catch is to create a safe space for children to meet, play, socialise, learn, grow, and divert from antisocial behaviour and crime. Over the last few years, the project has rapidly expanded, now has a funded centre for young people in the area to come and play within a safe environment, for example. And it allows children and young adults to grow and encourage opportunities where they might not have had before. Ash, I'm particularly pleased to see this because I know the area well. It's my old sort of stumping ground, so to speak.
I think we might be having a few problems with Ash connecting with us this evening, Carl. So I think on behalf of everybody, we just give a massive celebration shout out to the work that's being achieved here. And we'll catch up. I know that Ash will have received the recognition certificate and gift from us. So yeah, and it is your old home ground, isn't it, Lee? So I'm sure that one resonated very sweetly with you to see some amazing work going on there.
It did. Thanks, Amanda. So over to you.
Thank you so much. Our next community champion is Ruth Waring, nominated by Maghull and Alton Rotary Club. And let's see the video that shows what Ruth has been achieving. Well, Ruth, welcome to the Champions stage. I hope you're here and able to switch on your video to join us. But whilst you do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about your project. So Ruth spearheads a project called the Learning Centre, giving adults with disabilities the chance to integrate into society, along with offering work experience. Only 6% of people with learning difficulties are in paid employment, and this figure is declining. Most people with learning disabilities want some form of paid employment, but face barriers such as a lack of in-work support and belief in their abilities. Ruth works tirelessly, helping to change the lives of so many people, along with their families, building their self-esteem to show employees and the community what they can contribute to. I think it's fair to say that many of us have recognised the challenges that there are in terms of working with people who are different from what one considers to be the norm. My personal view is there's no such thing as the norm. Everybody is unique, and it's just a matter of how we access and showcase the skills and abilities of an individual. And Ruth has been proving this through her work with this project at the Learning Centre. So Donna, I know that Ruth isn't here to literally receive it on the video with you, but let's just have a bit of fun. Let's pass it over and remember that it's going to land on her desk. So here we go.
Literally.
Well done. That's amazing. So yeah, these community champions making such a difference, and each of the Rotary clubs that are recognising are also getting involved. So it isn't a passive relationship. Many times Rotary clubs are helping to facilitate the ambitions of each of our community champions. So really actively engaging in the programmes. So Ruth, congratulations from all of us here at Rotary International in Great Britain and Ireland. Keep up that great work, and we're going to now move over to the next awardee.
Thank you, Amanda. And our next and penultimate 2020 awardee is Rachel Halliday, who's been nominated by Whitehaven Castle Rotary Club. But first, a video. Now, I don't think we have Rachel with us this evening. Can I just check, Rachel, are you here? Oh, you're here. So Rachel, I'm going to come over to you in a minute if you turn your video on, please. But just first of all, a little bit about Rachel's work. So Rachel's overcome significant personal issues, and she now uses that experience, that lived experience, to support others. In June 2019, she opened WOW, or Women Out West. The project is a groundbreaking, community-based venture for women who have low self-esteem caused by issues such as domestic violence or mental health issues, imprisonment, and a culture of low expectation. The centre is attended by many women from all over West Cumbria looking for a hand up, not a hand out, to change their complex lives. And indeed, not just their own lives, but those of their families as well. Since opening, WOW's provided a safe space for women, many women of various ages who've got multifaceted needs, people like that, quite often statutory bodies really struggle to help them when they have sort of multiple needs like that. So it strikes me that the work that Rachel is doing with WOW, this is the sort of stuff that only we can do in the community. So I have great pleasure this evening in asking Donna to present Rachel with her 2020 Community Champion Certificate. Donna.
Congratulations, Rachel. Thank you.
Well, Carl, we do know Rachel's in the room. Here she is.
Hey.
Lovely job.
How you doing, Rachel?
I'm all right. I was worried then. I was thinking I'm not going to be able to get on.
It's absolutely brilliant to see you. So thanks for joining us, and congratulations first of all from me, because you mean this sounds fantastic. And I guess the obvious sort of question to ask you is that, given the 18 months that we've just had and the things that we read about in the news, am I guessing that the work that you're doing is never more needed?
Yeah, the work's been really difficult, but you know, as soon as the pandemic hit, we realised that our service was a frontline service, and if Tesco's and Aldi can keep going, we are going to keep going for those women. I'd like to thank Ellie Day for taking time out of the pandemic to nominate me. That's amazing. And White Avon Castle Rotary. But thank all the other local Rotarians who offer me not just financial support, but practical support and guidance, and most importantly for me, emotional support to carry on delivering these projects. I'd just like to share with you a little story about a lady called Louise, and I know I haven't got much time, but Louise came to Women Out West for help last year. She was alone, she had nobody to talk to, she suffered a lifetime of abuse, and she believed that there was just no reason for her to carry on and to live. So we worked together throughout the pandemic, and in January this year, I employed her as my full-time assistant. Louise is on the call tonight, and I know everyone will be mega chuffed, especially at the White Avon Castle Rotary, that she's working now, she has a brighter future, and she is absolutely what Women Out West are about. We do that not only just with Louise, but many other women, and I just want everyone to raise a glass to Louise tonight to say, well done, Louise, your future's bright.
I shall join you. It's not. I don't think I'm drinking the same stuff as you, Rachel, but I will nevertheless join you in a toast. Can I just ask you one question, Rachel? You said that that the Rotarians had kept you going over the last year. What's your message to all those people that have kept you going?
Just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have so many Rotarians in my life that they've just made my world a better place. They've made the journey better for me. You know, their skills, their knowledge, they're there for me 24 hours a day, you know, sometimes when things have been so bad. A big shout out to Dr. Ronnie Proudfoot as well, has been my temporary chair for about 4 years. Love him very much, and thank you for holding my hand through all these difficult times.
Rachel, I love your energy and your enthusiasm. You've put a smile on my face, and you're clearly doing stuff that is changing people's lives. So both congratulations, but also thank you. Brilliant stuff.
Just amazing. It's a good job that we're presenting, Carl, because I think I'll be sitting here in tears hearing these stories, because they just touch you right in your soul. So we now move to our final 2020 Community Champion, and that is Eileen Harrington, who's been nominated by Doncaster Rotary Club. So Phil, let's play the video. Well, hello, Eileen, and welcome to this evening's award ceremony. It's lovely to have you here with us. I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about your project first. So Eileen founded Dementia in 2012, which supports anyone living with dementia, as well as their carers and families, by holding events and social activities to help support one another. Eileen started the charity after experiencing firsthand the challenges of loneliness and isolation that carers face in looking after their loved ones. Eileen cared for her husband Don through dementia for many years. The charity offers financial and practical support to anyone who wishes to set up their own dementia support group within the Doncaster area, along with offering financial help to any carer in real need of respite care. Dementia is quietly making a real difference in Doncaster for many people whose lives are impacted by dementia. Eileen, And I will ask now if Donna would please pass your certificate of recognition across. I can see it's kind of there because it's sitting in the background, which is fabulous. So there it comes. Yay, well done.
Well done. Congratulations.
A massive congratulations to you. You know, so many people are experiencing the ravages of dementia. It's not just the individual living with it, but their families, their loved ones, other friends around them. You obviously have been through this as a personal experience. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about what happened in your lived experience with your husband, Don, and what drove you then to take the action to help others, please?
Well, my husband was particularly difficult, and I have not yet met anybody who has been as difficult as he was. He became gradually seriously violent. In the end, he had to be sectioned. But even before that, people lose interest in staying friends. Friends drop away. They don't realise that they're doing it, but one person does, and it goes on until you've got nobody to turn to. People offer help, but it's a token offer. They can't do a lot. He was so difficult that even the memory therapy services, even the professional services, abandoned him and us because they couldn't deal with him. He was physically very well and very strong, and he gave everybody problems, unfortunately. And so, yes, when I was in a position to do so, I started fundraising and taking people out on day trips and it's just grown from there. Most of what I feel is the benefit is the social aspect of it. I could take everybody on a bus ride with no end in sight, just sit in a car park and everybody would be quite happy. I've got two trips to Cleethorpes next week, which is our local seaside area, the week after next. And I've got nearly 70 people wanting to go, which is why we have to do 2. There may be more, but we could sit on the train all day. They'd be quite happy just to sit and talk to like-minded people. I do feel a bit of a fraud being here in that I'm not dealing with hundreds of people or masses of people like everybody else is. It's just few people all the time. It's ongoing though, and they do appreciate what's done for them. During lockdown, I was sending out parcels to as many people as we could hope to deliver to. All sorts. It was different every month, and it was different. And we finished up doing 72 every month. Sounds a strange number, but that was a manageable number. 72 people, and a lot of Rotarians delivered, as well as just friends and neighbours and other volunteers from various societies and walks of life. And people just loved getting the chat on the doorstep, having a strange person, a new person knock at the door, not necessarily their daughter or their regular shopper or neighbour, but somebody else to talk to. They just loved it, and then have a nice present to go in and open. It was Christmas every time, and we didn't do a regular day or date, so it was always a surprise. But yes, they absolutely loved it. So it's just Doncaster. It's not everywhere. It's just Doncaster people affected by dementia, which is where the name comes from. It is not called after my husband. Everybody thinks it is. Some people won't accept that. They like the idea that it is called after my husband, but not. So thank you to Rotary. It's fantastic to be recognised in this manner, and to all the volunteers and supporters. And thank you also from those people who ultimately benefit from the recognition and the profile raising that I hope will accrue from this. Thank you.
Oh, Eileen, that's amazing. And thank you for sharing so honestly what your lived experience was with your husband as he suffered through this condition, because the impact on you obviously was tremendous and those around you. And I think sometimes that is forgotten. We think about the person who's living with the condition, but it really is those carers who their lives are turned upside down during that period of time. Can we walk away from our partner, our loved one? Very, very difficult to do so. So my goodness, congratulations, Eileen. You are amazing. I've seen all the comments that are coming on the chat. Take time to read those for yourself. You are making a difference. It doesn't matter whether you are actually helping 1,000 people, 100,000 people, or one person. Okay, that one person's life being improved by your actions is very worthy of recognition and is making a massive difference to humanity in a global setting, because we learn we see from what you're doing how we can perhaps be a little bit better in our lives as well. So Eileen, thank you on behalf of Rotary
Thank you.
for all that you're doing. Thank you for joining us. So our heartfelt congratulations to Eileen and all the 2020 champions. It may have taken a little while for you to finally receive your recognition, but truly you are all an inspiration, both within Rotary and beyond. So please just keep doing what you've been doing. It's amazing. We're going to be moving on in a minute, but before we do so, I'd like to just bring President 2020, Donna Wallback, back in to just share her concluding thoughts on our champions for 2020.
Well, you're an inspiration, each and every one of you. And I am sure there's so many people who are watching this awards from their homes who are inspired by you to go and do a little bit more than they do. Because as we've heard before, we are stronger when we come together and we work together, and we can share our knowledge and our skills with each of ourselves, you know, with other people like ourselves. So thank you all. You are wonderful. I have been tearful, I've been overjoyed, and I've been humbled. But, you know, it is 2021. We've lived through a pandemic, and we have all come out that little bit stronger because we have supported each other. So thank you so very much. And back to you, Amanda, but thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. Lovely to see you again. And now we're going to move on to this year's awards. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce a Rotary International Great Britain and Ireland 2020-21 President, Tom Griffin, who'll be presenting the awards certificates this evening. So Tom, if you can switch on your camera and come and join us. Good evening to you. And I'm going to let you say a few words of introduction for the new 2021 awards ceremony. Over to you, Tom.
Thank you, Amanda. You know, everything Donna said a few minutes ago at the beginning of the 2020 Champions Awards, everything that she said about the 2020 champions is true of the 2021 winners. So I'd like to just emphasize what she said a few minutes ago. Rotary's vision statement says that together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And when you think about those words, you realize just how appropriate it is that this evening we should be honoring 12 individuals, 6 Rotarians and 6 who are not, did I say not yet? Rotarians who have done just that. They have made a difference to their community at home or a community overseas. What this dozen people have done is to identify a need, a problem, or a challenge which is affecting a community or a group of people, and then have decided to do something about it. You haven't left it to someone else. You've taken the initiative. You haven't done so for gain. Quite often the opposite. You haven't done so for fame, honor, or tonight's recognition. You've done so because you saw that something needed to be done and you decided to take action. You found a solution to a need. You've been creative in solving a problem, and you have engaged and motivated others. Together, you have created lasting change. I had the privilege to be part of the judging panels for both the Champions of Change and the Community Champions. And I can tell you that the judges had no easy task. Yes, we chose tonight's award winners as the best, but they were the best in a very strong field. It was heartwarming to read the fantastic acts of selfless service the nominees demonstrated. And so, while we thank and congratulate the dozen people we're about to honor tonight, let's also mark our appreciation of the dozens, hundreds, thousands of volunteers throughout the islands of Britain and Ireland who selflessly, day by day, devote their time, talents, and treasure to help those less fortunate than themselves. So again, 2021 champions, thank you and congratulations. Over to you, Amanda and Carl.
Thank you, Tom. I almost feel like I need a moment after listening to you just then. That was sort of hugely inspiring, and I was sat here worried, thinking about how am I going to follow that? Well, I don't think I need to worry about that, because looking at who's coming up in terms of our next winners, they're going to do all the talking for me, I think, in terms of what they've done. So in a moment, you're going to hear from John Griffith. But first of all, could we have a short video about John's work, please? So I think what we're hearing tonight is that social change comes in all shapes and sizes. And our first champion of change in 2021, the awardee John Griffith, has been nominated by Cleveland District Rotary. John's work is, for me, I find this astounding. Around 1 million people in over 50 countries now have access to clean drinking water thanks to John's engineering skills, the Griffith charity he established with his wife Jill, and the not-for-profit company he runs to design and manufacture safe water filters for areas in humanitarian need. His great work began more than 10 years ago when, having sold his textile machinery development business, he volunteered to help with a struggling project to send water filters to international NGOs in developing countries. He created improved filter designs to fit into emergency aid boxes while meeting the necessary regulations. And since 2009, some 45,000 filters have been deployed in more than 50 countries. John, this is fantastic, but we'll talk in a moment. But first, Tom, could you hand John his Champions of Change 2021 certificate, please?
John, here you are with.
There we are. Thank you very much.
John, I find this astounding. I mean, I sort of almost think that if you made vacuum cleaners, you would be on the front page of our newspapers and visiting prime ministers every day. What inspires you to keep going on?
Thank you very much indeed. I won't repeat what you just said, but Jill and I feel really lucky that we're able to do what we're doing, and it keeps us busy with the projects in our retirement. So thank you very much. Here's the filter, by the way.
And how has the Rotary community helped you achieve this sort of outstanding scale of change?
Right. Well, we started with Aquabox because they wanted a filter which fitted in one of their boxes. So we did the community filter. And then later on, in conversation with Aquabox, we went to the family filter. And then later on, Water Survival Box adopted the same filter. And just recently, we've had an agreement with Shelter Box to supply them as well. So we're really well connected to the Rotary Box organisations.
And also big charities.
And John,
and also, of course, many other charities outside Rotary.
Is that Jill that you've got there with you, John?
Yeah, just come and see your face.
Jill, say hello, please.
Come here.
Hi, everybody.
Jill, how proud do you feel of John and what you've done together?
I feel very proud and very lucky that I've had the opportunity to be with this project, as well as talking to people far and wide on emails. Before lockdown, we managed to visit many communities, and it makes you realise how important clean water is.
Jill, thank you so much. Jill, John, congratulations on your award, and thank you, and I think you will be an inspiration to many of us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Amanda, over to you.
I can say thank you to everybody else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, just amazing. That amount of clean water on a global scale, what can one say? It just blows your mind. But we have another awardee. Next up is Greg Singleton from Westbourne Rotary. So let's see the video that tells a little of Greg's story. Well, good evening, Greg. Welcome to the evening's awards ceremony. Lovely to have you here with us. I'm just going to give the audience a little bit of an insight into your project. When the pandemic began, Westbourne Rotary was supporting homeless people who are being housed in temporary hotel accommodation. Greg's home, being a registered kitchen, he started cooking hot meals that could be delivered to those in the hotel. It started with 15 meals a day. But it soon became obvious other sections of society also needed help. So Greg teamed with Unity and Vision to support Black and minority ethnic families and asylum seekers who were struggling, quickly followed by referrals from other local agencies. Greg and his wife Pam and a team of volunteers are now preparing 60 hot meals a day plus weekend food parcels. And since April 2020, the meals he and his team have cooked and delivered total 10,000. Tom, I do believe that Greg and Pam actually are worthy recipients of this recognition award. Please, would you pass over the Champions of Change Award for Greg to receive?
I am delighted to do so. Congratulations. Congratulations, Greg. There we go. Thank you.
Marvelous. Greg, thank you so much. I mean, my goodness, having your home registered kitchen. So does this mean that there's a sort of a chefing background for you and your family? Tell us a little bit about how this all came to be.
Yes, in fact, as a Rotary project for about 4 years, we've been distributing surplus foods to other charities. So actually, when we were asked to help the homeless people at the start of the pandemic, we had the premises, we had the ingredients, and we couldn't say no, really. But what started out as something that was we thought would be just 2 or 3 weeks expanded, and especially after the first lockdown, when the numbers grew enormously, but we were able to have more volunteers in. And for me, the joy of the project, although we've helped people who couldn't access food, but the joy has been the volunteers, the multi-ethnic volunteers who've given this such a distinct character. And I'd like to thank them and hope that they feel that they've got recognition as well from me having this award.
That is amazing, Greg. And I think the fact that you have engaged with the community at large, not just provided services to those in need, but actually created an environment that's encouraged people from ethnic and Black and ethnic minority backgrounds to come and be a part of the solution. And I think that's amazing. We need more of this. We need to demonstrate this across our communities, far and wide. We see so many times how this coming together is missing in society. And what you're doing is you're exemplifying how everybody can have a place and make a difference. I'm going to just invite Tom, put you on the hopper a little bit, Tom, but what's your view? How do you feel in terms of this project that Greg and Pam have brought together through Rotary?
I think it's extraordinary. I mean, I think there's 2 things that I want to say about it. One is, and it's true of this project, it's true of many of the other projects, is you start to think about the number of beneficiaries. A few minutes ago, Amanda, you talked about the number of meals that Greg and his team had cooked. It's not about the meals. It's about the people who ate the meals. And, This is when you start to lose the ability to speak, because if it just really gets to you. Every one of those meals benefited somebody. So think of the number of beneficiaries. And the other thing, the other side of it, the second point is the community cohesiveness that this project demonstrates. So it's talk about win-win. I know it's a cliche, but it's a win-win.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you so much. And I don't know, Pam, I put you on the spot there, because you're obviously sitting there enjoying the evening, I hope, but you've obviously been inspirational in this as well. What's your viewpoint? What would you like to add in terms of the contributions to society that you've been giving?
Well, the figures have now increased. It's now more than 17,000 meals that we've provided. But as Greg said, we have feedback from the people that have received our meals. They've had such a wide range of culinary delights from all across the world, and so their experiences have expanded. I'd say they'd struggle to find some restaurants that serve the type of food they've received. But one of the warmest things actually is when our volunteers actually thank me for allowing them to be part of the project, and the joy that they've got and the friends that they've made. You know, sometimes we might have had 6 different nationalities being represented in the kitchen at one time. It's noisy, a lot of laughter, but really fabulous. And language was not a barrier.
Oh, fabulous. Well, you've got the language of food, and I think that's universal. So to you both, thank you so much for all that you've contributed. Greg, carry on doing what you're doing. Don't stop now. 17,000 and rising. You know, your community needs you. It's just amazing. Thank you both so much. And Carl, I'll now pass over to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Truly, truly inspirational stuff this evening. Our next 2021 Champion of Change award goes to Douglas Kerr of Southwest Peninsula Rotary E-Club. So let's watch a short video about Douglas's work. We're hearing inspiring stories of all kinds this evening, including inspiration where people are coming from their own difficult circumstances. Douglas's passion for helping others has seen him become an active campaigner for people with motor neuron disease. This is despite having to go on 9 hours of dialysis himself each night until he had a kidney transplant in March earlier this year. Douglas played a leading role in founding the Plymouth Motor Neuron Disease Support Group, leading to the establishment of a long-term facility. While doing this, he also campaigned extensively with Plymouth City Council, who subsequently have signed the Motor Neuron Disease Charter, with MPs backing moves to help terminally ill people access welfare benefits more quickly. And if that wasn't enough, Douglas has also worked hard to raise the profile of Kidney Research UK, defying his own condition to raise funds by doing 8,500 steps every day until he had his transplant. So Douglas is demonstrating that people of action aren't just those people who are delivering services to help others, but they're also those who are speaking up and campaigning on behalf of other people. Tom, I would be delighted if you would hand over the certificate to Douglas to recognise that he is a 2021 Champion of Change.
I am delighted to do so. Douglas, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom.
Douglas, really, really nice to meet you. And given everything that I've just told everyone about what's happened to you, first and foremost, the obvious question is, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. I'm transplant recovering well, and I'm keeping fit and active and keeping myself busy with the volunteering, which helps to keep us all well.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear people talk about how volunteering is good for them. Actually, it's not just about the beneficiaries. But if you're going to keep busy, then the next question is, what's the next campaign, Douglas?
Well, the current campaign, which I've since June 18th, 2 weeks ago, I've been really busy with MND. 18th of June, I was on a 2-hour Zoom call with 39 MPs talking about the current campaign, which is United to End MND. It's a campaign run by the association, MND Scotland, and My Name's Doddy Foundation. And then on the 20th and 21st of June, myself and my wife went on a 21-mile walk over the 2 days, culminating and finishing on the 21st, which was MND Global Awareness Day. I had managed to get Plymouth City Council to light up Smeaton's Tower, and we had a fun evening by there. I'd like to say thank you to everyone, all the winners this evening, and the panelists for what they're doing. I'm humbled to receive this award, and I would like to thank the outgoing District Governor, William Wills, and the incoming District Governor, Michael Champion, for accepting this nomination. Sam Cross, who initially made the nomination in the beginning, she emailed me to say she was nominating me, and I was in my second day of recovery from a kidney transplant, and I thought I was in an actual dream. The volunteer for MND, many Rotarians on this call will have known somebody with MND. You know how horrific the disease is. It's a terminal illness with no cure. And in 2017, when I started volunteering fundraising, I decided that these people needed more. They needed more than just fundraising. So obviously, I decided that I wanted to campaign not only at a local level and national level. And that's when we got the association involved to start up the local group. We offer support. Over the past 2 years, since 2019, we've managed to raise £30,000, half which has gone to the association for research, and the other half stays locally to provide grants to families affected by the disease. We've covered expenses and grants to fit stair lifts. We provided counselling for family members. We provided day trips to younger family members. One of the proudest moments I've had through campaigning was to get one of our younger community members who was diagnosed with MND 2 years ago at the age of 24. I spent 5 months negotiating with the council and the housing association to get him moved from his 5th floor flat, which for 57 steps up, into a ground level accommodation. It took 5 months and a lot of hard work, but after a 2-hour meeting with the housing association, they called the patient the very next day and offered them the ground floor flat. So I was really chuffed with that. Campaigning now at a national level, I've just accepted a volunteer role on the policy and campaign advisory group, which I feel, being part of the policy and campaign advisory group, that I am able to enforce changes that's not only helping people locally with MND, it's helping people up and down the whole country.
Well, you clearly are a man of action, Douglas. You are also an inspiration. My congratulations on behalf of everyone here this evening, and my thanks to you as well.
Thank you.
Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Carl. Our 4th Champion of Change this evening for 2021 is Michael Gray of Fleetwood Rotary. So we're going to listen and just see a short video that represents Michael's work. Good evening, Michael. I'm just going to share your story, if I may, and then I'm going to ask you about the inspiration behind your project. 3 years hard work saw Michael launch Fleetwood Beach Wheelchairs, a charity that offers free use of adapted chairs with bulbous tyres so people with disabilities can enjoy the sand and feel the sea lapping at their feet. Living on the seafront, Michael noticed that families with a wheelchair user often had to leave them watching from the promenade, while they enjoyed walking along the sand and dashing into the sea. Ordinary wheelchairs are impossible on soft sand, but thanks to Michael's efforts, the charity now has 6 of the new chairs and a hoist and other equipment housed in a beachside base, with free disabled parking and a ramp to the beach. Those of you just watching the video, you will have seen the picture of the wheelchair, which is phenomenal. And Michael, congratulations to you. I'm going to ask Tom to pass over your award certificate, and then I'm just dying to ask you some questions. So Tom, please pass the certificate to Michael.
A pleasure to do so. Congratulations, Michael.
Lovely. It came in full with its frame. That's just brilliant. Michael, those wheelchairs, the design of that is just brilliant, because I mean, it's obvious that a standard wheelchair isn't going to work on the sand. How did you come up with this concept?
When I first saw from my window people unable to get on the beach, I went to my club and I said, look, you've got to do something about this. And they said, well, go away and research it and see what you can come up with. And I went to make my own inquiries. And eventually I came up with the idea of starting a charity 3 years ago. It's nearly 4 now. We went live in September last year, but we could only go live for a very short period of time because obviously lockdown closed us up again. When we went live, we set ourselves a 3-year business plan to get 7 chairs. We achieved the 7th chair in March. So in 6 months, we've done 3 years' work. So now that we're back up and running, which we've been since the 17th of May, we intend to consolidate the quality of the service that we give so that we can cater for much more complicated and difficult disabilities, which a lot of the facilities that we've got don't cater for. Having said that, we today had our 112th visitor, and they came from Liverpool to see us. This morning we had people come from Bolton to see us. So they're coming from all over the place to come to Fleetwood. And not only that, we have visitors from Accrington, Cumbria and Blackpool Palatine Rotary clubs who are our volunteers. So it's not just a sort of cross-country selection of visitors, but it's also quite a wide selection of Rotarians that come to assist us to provide the service, which we're very proud of, and we continue to serve the public in that way.
That's amazing. And I think you've sort of touched on something there which is really important. We've spoken already this evening about the power of working together to achieve an outcome, and sort of sharing the volunteers from one club to another obviously makes a massive difference. Do you feel that the charity will have the capacity? I understand you're consolidating right now, so I get that. But going forward, the capacity or the ambition to perhaps share the model out and create these services in other parts of the country? What's your thinking around that?
We've had inquiries from 3 separate councils who wish to provide a similar service. On what basis they want to do it, I don't really know. We provide our service completely free. You don't pay a penny. Every penny we've got has been donated. Every chair we've got has been purchased either for us or by donations. Each one is brand new, 10-year guaranteed. Our hoist is a brand new hoist as well. So we offer the best possible facilities. I see no reason why, providing you've got the facilities to get onto the beach, that Rotary clubs with seaside facilities can't take this on board. And we would love to share our experience and our pain, just to make it a bit easier for people.
That's great. Interesting. I was speaking to one of my colleagues earlier today, and he'd been involved in actually putting some of the materials together, and he'd seen the photographs, of course, of the wheelchairs, and he's actually a member of staff rather than a Rotarian, and he is just going, he said, I can't believe what these Rotarians are doing. This is just phenomenal. This story needs to go in the magazine. I mean, he was just so inspired and animated by having sort of read your story and seen the imagery behind it. You truly are, inspirational, making a difference to so many people who are starting to think differently. So where we can actually work together, help you get that message out, let's do that, Michael, because I think this is tremendous opportunity, and we can take the blueprint, take your experience, take your learning, the hardships that came with it, I'm sure, and do something in other parts of the country around the coast of Great Britain and Ireland. So Michael, thank you so much. And thank you to your colleagues who have worked with you, your volunteers. You are a champion of change 2021, and we look forward to seeing this project expand in the months and years to come. Carl,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Over to you, Carl.
Thanks very much, Amanda. So we're now, I believe, into our next category, which are community champions of change. And I'd like to begin with our first awardee, who is Sylvia Kerris from Eccles Hall, Mercia Rotary. So that's a great picture there, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that in a moment. So for the last 2 years, Sylvia has championed the cause of Buddy Bags Foundation, which supplies essential items for the immediate well-being of children who find themselves in emergency care following a traumatic incident. In 2019, she embarked on a Birmingham to London canal walk, and through publicity for the Rotary clubs she met along the way, inspired widespread support for the charity's appeal for knitted teddy bears. So far, more than 2,600 knitted teddies have been collected, with the figure increasing daily. Her walk also raised £1,500, which was split between Buddy Bags and Rotary's End Polio campaign, while a novel costumed activity in December 2020 achieved a further £552 in donations. So Sylvia has been an outstanding fundraiser on behalf of these causes. So without further ado, and assuming, Sylvia, that you're here with us, Tom, could you present Sylvia's award as a 2021 Community Champion of Change?
Congratulations, Sylvia.
So Sylvia, are you with us? Can I just check?
I'm with you.
Good to hear you, Sylvia. I can't just see your video, but could we? Can I just ask, how long did it take you to walk from Birmingham to London?
Well, I averaged about 11, 12 miles a day, but walked continuously day after day, and was very kindly given free beds each night by Rotarians along the way.
So yet another example of how you couldn't have done this on your own, and that being part of the Rotary community is what enables you to make such a difference.
Rotary community is absolutely fantastic, and it was through staying with different Rotarians, and of course I had to sing for my supper, so as I arrived at each point each night along the canal, then once I'd got washed and changed, I then went to a Rotary meeting and was talking to them about Buddy Bags and raising more funds along the way, and also promoting the charity and what it does, and enjoying Rotary fellowship and friendship, but raising lots of money from people on boats, other walkers along the way, and promoting Rotary. And some people were still even surprised that women are in Rotary.
Yeah. Now, we saw a picture of you with some of those 2,600 knitted teddies, Sylvia. What number are you roughly up to now?
I think it's probably nearer 3,500 to 4,000 teddies that I've brought along to the Buddy Bag packing sessions through the Teddy Appeal that I set up. It started off with my contacts in Rotary up and down the country from different charity walks I'd done, and then spread on Facebook and went also to people in the local area through posters I put up, people on Facebook, and also through the press, the local press and local media. And I actually have with me here the founder of Buddy Bag Foundation, Karen Williams, OBE.
Karen, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to Sylvia for supporting the Buddy Bag Foundation. What we found during lockdown was that lots of people were looking for an activity, and Sylvia embraced the opportunity, engaged with all these knitters. And what's really, really lovely is that it's given the knitters a purpose too. So not only do we obviously supply the Buddy Bags to these children, but all these amazing ladies, you know, have an opportunity to give back as well. And I think we had a 92-year-old lady who was busy knitting. So, Yeah, unbelievable.
Yes, people have been saying to me how having a purpose to knit teddies, which are the comfort toy in the buddy bags pack of essential items of clothing and toiletries, that have knitting the teddies that they know will be loved and very much appreciated by the children who are vulnerable in those circumstances. It's given them a real reason to focus on doing something positive during lockdown. And I found having contact with the other people who've knitted or even sewn toiletry bags, which the charity also needs, and collecting in Lego that's been donated, it's been really, really worthwhile. And of course, at the end of the day, the charity has experienced and heard about more cases of domestic abuse in lockdown, unfortunately. So they are packing 180 bags minimum every single week.
Wow. But what you've also just made me think is that something, Tom, you were saying just before, this is about so much more than service, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing what people, the need that people identify and then address. And quite often it's a hidden need, or it's a need that isn't obvious to everyone. And that's that's a theme in one or two of the champions. They've identified something which is really important, but is not staring you in the face.
And of course, this has been something that people can do and participate and contribute to others in a very worthwhile charity that they can do, even if they were shielding at home, you know, even if they had some ill health. And I've had knitters who are more local to me who've come round to my house, one lady in a wheelchair, and she said, I just wanted to see you in person rather than post these bears I've knitted to you. And the lady's daughters said, you've given my mother something really worthwhile, and it's such a lovely cause, and you know, it's just wonderful to be able to help in this way. And I've also helped at some of the backpacking sessions, so you know how much work is done every single week by the charity.
Fantastic. So can I say thank you to you both, but can I also finally say congratulations to you, Sylvia. You are a 2021 Community Champion of Change.
And I want to thank all the other participants and all the other award winners as well. Congratulations to them, because everyone's done such a fantastic job, you know, during difficult circumstances of the pandemic.
Brilliant. Thank you. Amanda.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, our final 2021 Champion of Change is Chris Hayter from Milton Keynes Grand Union Rotary. So play Chris's video. Well, good evening and welcome to Chris. I'm sure she'll be popping her camera on in a moment, but through the Oasis Project, a charity Chris founded in 2007, she has been instrumental in helping bring about improved health and well-being for the people of Bakau in the Gambia. Most recently, seeing the community suffer terrible flooding in the rainy season and a consequent rise in malaria levels, she galvanized locals to take part in a storm water management scheme involving developing, repairing and clearing storm drains. As a result of Chris's interventions, their homes are no longer subject to flooding, and the amount of standing water has been reduced, with resulting malaria cases dropping by a staggering 70% in the first year. Chris, welcome to you to our Champions Awards Ceremony 2021. And I'm going to start by inviting President Tom to pass over your certificate of recognition.
Chris, many congratulations. Wonderful project. Great benefit to the people of the Gambia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic, Chris. I mean, my goodness, a 70% reduction in malaria cases. That is outstanding. And such a, I would say a simple solution. It's all about sort of the water hygiene side of things here and not having that flood water. Tell us a little bit more about how you got to be involved in this. And obviously you must have some knowledge in the area, I'm suspecting.
Well, I went to Gambia on holiday in 2006, and my life just changed. It's really what I would refer to as a calling. And actually thinking of tonight reminded me very much of all the things we did beforehand to gain trust in the community before we could reach this stage with the community. And yes, I spent lots of time in the community. In 2006, I went to Gambia 7 times because every time I came home, I just couldn't settle. And I just felt led to help the people that I was continually seeing that didn't have the voice, that were tired of promises. And I just couldn't sit back and do nothing. So I started the Oasis Project. And in starting the Oasis Project, we did a number of things. I started by a charity shop, which the money from the things we sold, like we do here, helps the community. I organised eye and health screening days, which helped over 700 people. I organised monthly street cleaning with the youth of the community. We donated wheelchairs, we resourced schools and things like that. We got car tyres that were causing mosquitoes to breed, and we recycled them into planters. And I did workshops in schools, and we decorated the community and painted them really colourfully. And so through this, I got to gain the trust of the community. And also what was really important was that I do have a strong faith, and that was the beginning of it really. So my integrity, the generosity and selflessness, I had to demonstrate that because people were tired of being promised things. But yes, it took a lot of patience, empathy, forgiveness, kindness, because when you want to help people, there are suspicions because people have come and gone before you. So there were a number of errors that happened, but as with our computers, we have a reset button. Then these reset buttons lead to new ideas. What resulted from all of these things was like a cleaner community, opportunities and possibilities, and people were held accountable for things. They were made responsible, and they became empowered, and the empowerment, really the source of it was sustainability. That was always key. We always made that clear to them. So that was really the essence. But the storm drain, from spending time in the community, in the rainy season, I saw the water wasn't leaving. And one night, I must have been consumed with it, but I got a lead in to a place where this canal will be, storm drain will start. And I trust the God in me. So I went to this place that I was led to. I started to write the program of how it will be done. I did a sample area, and everyone said, well, how do you know it's going to be like that? And how do you know this will work? It was a lead in. And the canal you see behind me is a 400-metre canal that was funded by my Rotary Club in Milton Keynes Grand Union Rotary Club, District and Rotary International. It took 8 years to find the funds, but we found it, and my team at my club have been amazing. They've been over to see it, supported with managing the funds to make sure it was used properly. And in between trying to find the money, I was led to start a school, because if you don't have education, if you don't start early, you can't change mindsets, and you can't empower the generations to come. So we targeted the school really towards the needy, those that wouldn't have had an opportunity to have an education. But we didn't, we were inclusive of everybody, but our emphasis and our focus is the people that wouldn't have had an education. So we started with 7 students, and we now have over 230 students. And wow. We have our first grade 6 primary students graduated this year. So we're really excited.
That's a fabulous backstory, Chris, and the impact, you know, the difference that's being made to lives is without question. Thank you, Chris, for all that you have shared with us this evening. I can see all the comments coming in. I don't know how many are coming through to everybody, but you know, everyone's going, wow, 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 you know, well done you. So Chris, thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, one more comment.
Can I just thank, I need to thank my club, my amazing trustees, my long-suffering husband, my pastor in the Gambia, who has just been there since 2006, standing with me. There have been lots of challenges. And thanks to Rotary, Great Britain and Ireland for the recognition. It's been an amazing time. Thank you.
That's fantastic. You're amazing, Chris. Have a great rest of the evening. Well, that concludes the Champions of Change 2021 awardees. I'm now going to move to our final category of the evening, which are the community champions. My apologies to Carl. I gave him a bit of a misguide on the script earlier there, so he'll forgive me and we'll stay buddies, I know, going forward. So as we head over to these awards nominated by Rotary clubs, recognising special individuals within their communities, Carl, over to you for the first awardee, please.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amanda. And Sylvia, my apologies if I didn't get your award quite right. So our first 2021 community champion is Kate Oakley, who's been nominated by Kinver Rotary Club. So we'll just see now a short video about Kate's work. So like everyone here tonight, Kate is dedicated to creating positive change that will improve the quality of other people's lives. Kate's project is called Planting for Hope Uganda, and it's improved many lives in the remote bush village of Katiti in West Uganda through health facilities, safe water and sanitation, sustainable agriculture, solar electricity, and improved living conditions for villagers. Village School has also grown from 286 pupils in 2014 to now 620, with an impressive 100% pass rate for all leavers over the last 4 years. The school has successfully trained a number of nurses, mechanics and teachers, and is consistently the top performing school of the 38 schools in the local region. So it's my pleasure to say that Kate Oakley is a 2021 community champion. And Tom, would you do me the honour of handing Kate her certificate?
Oh, it is my privilege to do you that honour. Kate, many congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really can't believe I'm here tonight, because when Ian Maddock from Kinver Rotary got in touch with me and said, can we nominate you? I just said, no. There's no point in nominating me. And he said, Kate, go on, because it'll be good for your charity. And if you get it, he said, you probably won't get an award because there are hundreds of people going to be being nominated. But he said, if you do, it will be a good thing for your charity. So I said yes. So I was totally shocked and humbled, delighted, and very, very honoured to be given this award. And I accept it on behalf of all the brilliant people that I've met over the last 9 years since I started the charity, who have been so supportive, from sponsors to friends to all the people who have helped me raise funds. And one of the things that I'm quite proud of is that 100% of everything that's raised goes out to help the community in Chititi. It wouldn't have happened without Apollo Saku, who I met when I was volunteering on another project early on, and who persuaded me that we could make a difference. And he has been absolutely superb. And so during the 9 years, very happy and exciting years and enriching years for me. I have had the pleasure of working with mainly women and children in Chititi, most of them are widowed from AIDS, and they were struggling to have 3 or 4 meals a week at the most. And out of the 180 children that I met there on the first day that I went out to the community, only 5 of them were in school. And as an ex-teacher, I just couldn't bear the thought that all of these children were losing opportunities. And it's just been amazing. It's been an absolutely amazing journey, and I'm very, very happy that we've achieved what we've achieved in this time, and excited by it. And as you heard from Carl, we have quite a few children who've gone on to great success during this time. And thank you very much.
Okay, I'm not surprised to hear you say that you are humbled by the award, but please, please don't be surprised, because you are a worthy winner and you are amongst your peers here tonight, deservedly so. So can I congratulate you on behalf of everyone that you are a 2021 award winner, and can I thank you on behalf of everyone? Thank you, Kate. Amanda, over to you.
Thank you, Carl. Well, next we're going to meet Christine Boatwright, who is nominated by Sudbury Rotary Club. So let's see the video that showcases Christine's work. Well, I think a single picture paints 1,000 words when I tell you that Christine is the founder and clinical director of the Kurnos Centre, with overall responsibility for the therapy provided and the therapists that work there. And I welcome Christine to our event this evening. Christine was inspired to open the Kurnos Centre in 2002 by the need for free or low-cost, unlimited hours professional counselling for people who do not have sufficient support from the NHS or other statutory agencies. Many people told Christine she would never be able to maintain an organisation or even a charity based on her generous philosophy of providing free of charge counselling and psychotherapy services to those who really need it. However, 19 years and over 4,200 clients later, Kurnos is alive and kicking. The centre simply would not have been possible without Christine's unstinting energy, enthusiasm, commitment and wisdom. So, Tom, I'm going to invite you please to pass the recognition certificate to Christine. I'm going to ask Christine to find that unmute button so that we can have a conversation with you. And I think you've got someone who's going to help you, so that's amazing. Let's do it now. We've got
Christine.
Wonderful.
Christine, well done. Many congratulations.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Perfect, Christine.
Thank you.
I think, you know, when people say, oh, you're a really kind person, you're doing a great thing, but it's never going to work, I think it gives you the inspiration to just prove folk wrong. And my goodness, 19 years and 4,200 clients later, wow, blown away. Christine, how do you do it? How do you do it?
First of all, before I go into that, I would like to thank the Rotary Club of Sudbury and our district Rotary Club, Jonathan King, for actually putting me forward for this award. And it's even more amazing actually to be chosen to be a recipient of this reward. I do feel really quite humbled, especially hearing everybody's stories of what they've been able to contribute. Having said that, I am very, very proud of the Kurnos Centre and all the people that have helped me to keep this centre going for all of this time. I think somebody else said earlier about things that we get back from it. And I think seeing people that are perhaps in desperate situations work their way out of that and become people that can once again value themselves and get more self-esteem and confidence and become members of the community and move on from there, is the reward that we get from what we do. The other thing is, yes, you said how people doubted that this would succeed, and they did. And they said, oh, there'll be people taking advantage of you. Everybody will say they can't afford to pay when they can. And, you know, and the number of clients that we have helped that have contributed in one way or another, whether it was swimming 5 miles to raise money, running half a marathon. A client recently who put on Facebook, it was her birthday, please don't buy me a birthday present, but can you please donate to this charity because they're giving me counselling. And that happened, and she raised over £200. I'm sorry, that's my cat that's just joining me. So yes, we get an awful lot back from it, and I think that's what keeps us going, to see how people can move from quite desperate places, sometimes with self-harm and even suicidal ideations, and become fully functioning again and have a life that they can enjoy. That's what keeps us going.
That's amazing, Christine. And you really summed it up so well there about the end result, how you can take somebody from that place of desperation to that place of hope and inspiration. And that journey, and it really is a journey, and it can take a variety of lengths of time. But what you're giving that individual, what they're able to absorb and how they're able to fight back is truly wonderful. And I love the story there about the client that said, look, you know, maybe I can't fund it, but let me give of myself by asking others who would give me a birthday present to actually donate to the service that I so value. I also agree with you. You know, it's sometimes when people do challenge us with our crazy ideas, as they might think they are, you know, you've got to put a bit of faith in humanity, and yes, people that need the service won't come and they won't abuse what you're offering. And you know, others, if they are of that mind, then they will learn along that journey. So, Christine, thank you. 19 years of service within your community to make sure the Kurnos Centre is alive, surviving, but actually thriving in its support to others. So thank you once again for joining us this evening. I'm super proud of you, and you should be super proud of yourself. You deserve this recognition. So Carl, over to you, please.
Thanks, Amanda. Our third community champion of 2021 this evening is Jerry Watkins, who's been nominated by Cirencester Rotary Club. Let's just see a bit about Jerry's work. So in his own words, and this sounds so familiar with the stories that I've heard this evening, Jerry is just an ordinary, hard-working bloke. He's also the driving force behind the Big Yellow Bus project. The project aims to take rough sleepers off the streets and provide them with safe, warm shelter, food and clothing, and an opportunity to get their lives back on track. To raise funds for the project, Jerry also opened the Big Yellow Bus charity shop, which provides affordable clothing, household items, giftware, and many other items. Homeless individuals who sign up to the project are also given vouchers to obtain free clothing from the shop. Jerry's tireless dedication to the project meant he was undeterred even when a global pandemic hit, managing to secure rental premises that could be converted to provide the same facilities as the bus, which has temporarily had to close, whilst also adhering to the social distancing guidelines that we all know have made delivering services so much harder. The new facility opened its doors in 2020. Jerry, that sounds like outstanding work. And Tom, could you award Jerry his 2021 Community Champion certificate, please?
Jerry, here is your certificate. Very well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, I have to say, do apologise.
Tom, the dog's excited that you're here.
Yeah, I think I think the dog must be allergic to me.
Not at all, not at all. It's a rescue dog, a dachshund we saved from being in a cage. First of all, it's well, I'm blown away to be invited or even to receive this award, because everybody on here, I like to feel we don't do it for recognition. We do it because we're passionate and we believe we can make a difference. Yeah, it's very touching. But before I even talk about what I do or whatever to all you fantastic people, I'd like to thank Cirencester Rotary Club for believing in me and supporting me. They do fantastic work. They're all Rotary clubs are an asset to each community. That goes without saying. I've seen so much fantastic work tonight. It's unbelievable. I'd like to thank all my trustees and volunteers. I've got the best team behind me. So this award is not for me personally. It's for the project and those that help me and support me, and the fantastic communities. It's a real honour to be associated with Cirencester Rotary Club. It is really. I'm not worthy to be here in the sense after looking at the fantastic people here. But yeah, again, this will go pride of place in the charity shop, so thousands of people can see it. But it is for the project, not for me.
Well, Jerry, can I just say on behalf of everyone here, and I am sure I am speaking on behalf of everyone here, you do deserve to be here. You are rightfully in your place amongst your peers, and we believe in you. Okay? So, thank you. It's fantastic, and congratulations.
No, thank you.
Okay. Brilliant. So I'm afraid if you're bored of me, you've got me for a little bit longer because I'm going to go on to the next one now. And we have next as our community champion, Denise Campbell, who's been nominated by Billingshurst District Rotary Club. So can we just see a little bit about Denise's work? So, Denise, good to see you here, but I'll just say a few words first about what you've been doing. So this will sound familiar to all of you because we've heard this so many times tonight. For the past 18 years, Denise has responded whenever she has seen a need in the community. She actively encourages community partnership working that enables clubs and groups to work together to achieve their aims. Denise's project, Complementary Meals, has helped families facing food poverty during the COVID-19 pandemic by arranging the collection of and delivery of meals and essential toiletries. Heading up the Community Support Partnership, Denise works with many local organisations and businesses, including schools, preschools, churches, Billingshurst District Rotary Club, cafes and a food bank to make sure that those families most in need continue to get the help that they need. The project has now been granted funding to continue until at least March of 2022. So Denise, you are you're the oil in the engine of what's happening in your local area. And I'm sure Tom will be delighted to make your 2021 Community Champion Award to you.
Denise, here is your certificate with our thanks and our congratulations and our appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Denise, you're the oil in the engine or the glue that keeps everything stuck together. Tell me a bit about what keeps you going and why you do this.
Well, I think it is having a lot of people that are like-minded thinkers behind me as well. And I'm very tenacious, and I work with a lot of people that have a lot of energy and a lot of really good ideas. And like everybody else that has said their pieces before me, that I'm not doing this on my own. I might be the one that is perhaps a little bit more bossy, a little bit more tenacious, a little bit more feisty about getting my own way, and I think that probably is the root of it. And I have to say that I feel as if I'm in very illustrious company tonight, because there are some amazing projects that have been talked about. Yeah, community, the complimentary meals are really about giving people that sense of feeling that they belong within the community, and that we give those meals as a gift because things are tough. And none of this would be possible without Little Bean Cafe and Tracy Dowse, who is actually sitting next to me, and she's not going to come in, but she's the one that actually said we'd like to do something we'd like to be involved with the community and do something for the community during lockdown. And that's how it started. So it was really her idea, and I took it forward. We had support from the Rotary Club, and as you've just said, we've got funding now to continue for the rest of the financial year. And we have plans to develop the complimentary meals further by developing cooking sessions for those families, because it's quite clear that they struggle a little bit with knowing how to feed their families well on a budget. So that's the next phase, the phase 2 of this project.
Tracy, can I entice you to say anything about Denise?
Well, Denise and I only met through this project, and she's been amazing. She saw that there was a need. When I came forward, she said, "Oh, that sounds like something we could get involved with," and she brought all the other parts of the community together. So it was just me, and then I met Denise, and then Denise brought us all together. So now we all work together, and it is an amazing project that's got longevity, and it's going on to do other amazing things. So good.
Brilliant. Well, bringing the community together, that sounds such a Rotary way to think and to talk about and to end on for this bit. So my thank you to you both, but especially my congratulations to you, Denise. Thank you both.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amanda.
Thank you, Carl. Well, we are at the time of our penultimate awardee for the evening. And for those of you that are sort of avid clock watchers, you will see that we're technically at our bewitching hour. But I think that the stories, the inspiration that we've heard by listening to our awardees this evening absolutely gives us the right to overrun and just make sure that we give everybody the full opportunity that we can avail them of. So without further delay, I'm going to introduce Hugh Scudder, nominated by Dawlish Water Rotary. That's amazing. You know, Hugh is an inspirational and enthusiastic individual who has focused his efforts on helping disadvantaged families in Moldova. Founded by Hugh, Christian Response to Eastern Europe has been instrumental in providing thousands of tons of humanitarian aid to disadvantaged families in Moldova, the poorest country in Eastern Europe. The charity has also been able to expand its Christmas shoebox appeal for Moldova, with more than 4,000 shoeboxes of aid and gifts now being collected and distributed every year. Additionally, continuous fundraising led by Hugh has funded a number of soup kitchens in the most deprived areas, which have provided regular and much needed nutrition for families. So Hugh, welcome to the show this evening. And before we get into conversation, I'm going to invite Tom to pass your award certificate over.
Hugh, it's my pleasure to pass this certificate to you in recognition of the work you've been doing in a very, very poor country in Europe. Well done.
Thank you very much indeed for this. On behalf of all the volunteers who support our work, thank you very, very much.
Well, it's a real pleasure to have you here this evening, Hugh. And the work you're doing, 4,000 shoeboxes every year, that's no mean feat. So how are you going about getting the contents to go into those shoeboxes?
We started this over 20 years ago, and it has grown significantly since. And the Rotary Club of Dawlish Water have been instrumental in letting it grow. Without that Rotary Club, we wouldn't be able to do it. And we're also supported now by St Ives Rotary Club in Cambridge, which is fantastic. But it is really worthwhile. I think too many people concentrate on what they're putting into a shoebox and don't imagine the screams of joy and delight as the children open them. And also we do them for sort of grannies and grandparents and old people. But as a charity, we've got lots of different avenues. You've outlined a few: the educational projects, university and vocational, various medical schemes, and summer camps. We run summer camps or sponsored children to go to summer camps. So rather than working in the fields throughout the summer, they have the opportunity to sort of have a bit of fun and play. We take humanitarian aid lorries over, 40-ton trucks full of good quality clothing and everything else. It is really sort of fantastic. I don't want to go on too long because we're running a little late, I think, but I would just like to read something of a young lady, Nastia, who wrote, and she says, "At 5 years old, my parents abandoned me, leaving me in the care of my grandparents. It was very hard for my grandparents. They didn't have steady work to send money for food and clothing, and had to send money for food and clothing to my uncle who was in prison. They got into debt and unpaid utility bills. They have no money for me to go to kindergarten. Financially and emotionally, we were all struggling. None of us knew where my mother was until she called out of the blue to say she was living with another man in another village and didn't want me. So many troubles. My grandparents often argued and sadly turned to drink. When I was 6 years old, I met Hugh in the charity Christian Response. I'm now 24 years old with a university degree and a desire to live and create a strong and united family. All this is due to the help of the charity and my English sponsor. If it wasn't for them, all would be a completely different life, because no one would have cared what I did or where I went. I'm frightened when I think of what could have happened to me. She could easily have ended up on the streets. She may be dead or whatever. We looked after her. We made sure she had food, clothing. We prepared her for her grandparents' death, which was imminent, and she was only she wasn't even a teenager. We saw her through school and university, and she asked me to take her down the aisle at her wedding. And before we went down, before we went down the aisle, she turned to me and said, "Thank you for giving us a life."
That's amazing, Hugh. That's a powerful recognition for the impact and the life-changing efforts that your charity is making to these young people who otherwise would be in a very, very different lived experience world. So, Hugh, thank you so much. I don't really know, there's no words to add to the story that you've just told there. It is so powerful. Comments are coming in through the chat channel just to that effect. But our sincere thanks to you and to Christian Response for its work in Moldova, making a difference to the lives of so many children and families in that very impoverished part of the world. Hugh, thank you, and please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Carl.
Thanks, Amanda. So everyone, our final community champion this evening and closing the award presentation is Dame Helen Hyde, who has been nominated by Watford Rotary Club. Let's just see a video about Helen's work. So I'm guessing for some of you, Dame Helen will not really need an introduction. Stepping out of retirement, Dame Helen is a patron and trustee of the One Vision project, but she's also been recognised for her selfless work in so many areas. She's a recently retired headmistress in Watford, and she's worked with African charities. And of course, she's widely recognised for her work around Holocaust education. She recently stepped in to help a local interfaith group where she has set up a project, One Vision. The project has aimed to provide food for vulnerable adults and children in North Watford during the recent COVID-19 lockdown, and is yet another example of the sort of mutual aid that we've been hearing about this evening. Dame Helen's exceptional organisational skills and experience meant that she's a natural leader for projects of this sort, and she's brought together all different parties and ensured that those involved have provided daily food parcels and meals, and that they've been delivered to individuals who are self-isolating and also to families who relied upon free school meals. She clearly is a champion within her community. Tom, please could I ask you to present Dame Helen with her award certificate.
Helen, with many congratulations and thanks for everything you've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Helen, I almost don't even know where to start with given the career that you've had. So I guess I want to ask you the question that for everyone listening this evening and watching, what would your advice be to people who want to make a difference and do something in their community?
I think my first thing is just to take one small step. Just do something small for somebody else. That's once you start, you won't stop. But every day you need to help somebody. Otherwise, life isn't worth living.
And of the many things that you've done, are there things that you feel especially proud of?
3. Can I mention 3? We're running late
Yes.
anyway, so we might as well be a bit later. 1 is my Holocaust work, and particularly in the 21st century, when we're seeing a huge rise in anti-Jewish hatred. I think we've got to stop and think where racism unchecked leads. We all have to do this, because a society that is anti-Semitic is not a civilized society. So my Holocaust education, I'll talk anywhere, just invite me. Secondly is my African work, which is in Rwanda and Zimbabwe, helping the most deprived women with everything they need should they give birth to a baby on their own, and my little school in Kigali. And finally, One Vision in Watford. What a wonderful place to work. We provide grocery bags and hot meals for over 300 people every week. We run a hub 5-6 days a week, and the Sikh Gurdwara cook the most delicious meals. It's just the most wonderful team. I've made new friends, and we all just love working together.
Dame Helen, I think just in those few words, you've exemplified everything that we've heard tonight, from the local to the global, about being part of a greater community and about being focused on helping others and delivering impact. So could I take this last opportunity to say thank you and to congratulate you on...
Oh, can I just have the last word? I always do.
Please do.
Can I then just say to everybody, read the little story about the starfishes on the beach. I'm going to tell you very quickly, as every headmistress does. There's a little girl walking along the beach, thousands of starfish stranded. She's throwing one at a time, and an elderly gentleman walks across and says, "What are you doing? Waste of time." The little girl picked up one, looked at it, threw it in the sea and said, "Made a difference to that one." So I think we can all do that. And can I thank Watford Rotary Club for nominating me and supporting me.
Dame Helen, brilliant words to finish on. Thank you. And with those words, that concludes the presentation for the Champions Awards of 2021. Amanda.
Thank you. I think that we can all agree that the innovation, creativity and thoughtfulness in seeking to solve some of the most challenging problems has been demonstrated by all of our champions this evening. It is indeed inspirational. But before we close, I would like to invite Tom to join us once again for his final remarks. Tom, please.
Thanks, Amanda. I shall be very brief. I think there are 4 themes which I come out of this evening, run right through like a golden thread. One is inspiration. That word has been used so often tonight because so much of what has been done is inspirational. The second theme is life-changing. It was Chris who actually said that what she was doing changed her life. But what our champions have done has changed so many people's lives, touched not just the little starfish, but has touched so many people's lives. And earlier on, when we were talking about meals, I said it's not about the meals, it's about the beneficiaries. There are so many people have benefited, whose lives have been changed by our champions' work. Third of the 4 themes is so many have talked about being humbled. Jerry summarized it. He said, "This is not for me." Oh, yes, it is for you. You deserve this recognition. And why? Because of the 4th of the themes, and that is involving others. These wonderful champions have been, the word is inadequate, but they have been the catalyst. They have seen the need for something to be done, and they are able to help. They are able to thank the people who have helped them because they have inspired and engaged and involved those people in helping them and helping the beneficiaries. I don't know what more to say tonight, so I shan't say it. What a wonderful collection of people who have really, working together, made a fantastic difference to so many lives.
Tom, thank you so much for your closing remarks. It really has been an amazing evening. Carl, I thank you for your service and time with us tonight as well. Really appreciate it. I think we'd probably get a new job on Breakfast TV or something forward, you know. And Carl, any last minute comments from yourself? New to Rotary.
Oh, cracky. I mean, it's amazing. And, you know, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but that old saying from Margaret Mead, never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever does. And I think I've heard that tonight.
Thank you, Carl. That's amazing. It's been great hosting with you this evening, and thank you for giving your time to support Rotary in this way. And thank you to past President Donna and to President Tom for supporting the Champions Awards 2020-21. Finally, thank you, our audience, for watching the Champions Awards this evening. We will be posting to YouTube, so please share the Rotary Great Britain and Ireland YouTube channels and take the chance to view some of the other amazing video content that you'll find there. It's been wonderful to hear the stories of 2020 and 21 for those winners that have been with us tonight, and to thank them for their service. But as we approach Thank You Day, taking place this coming Sunday, the 4th of July, I would like to thank not only our awardees, but our Rotary members too, for those who give their time and talent to make a difference in the world, day in, week out, month in, year out. Thank you all. And this event would not be possible without the support of our volunteer event specialist, Phil Dyer, who's been working tirelessly behind the scenes to prep us for this evening and get the video content together. And of course, staff member Emily Stiles, who led her colleagues in collating nominations, supporting the judges and shaping the evening's event. Well done, Emily. Super proud of you. We look forward to seeing you next year, and we hope to bring this event to you from Volunteer Expo 2022 at the NEC in Birmingham. So Phil, play the outro video, and I wish everybody a fun, successful and happy evening and weeks and months ahead. Thank you and good night. Here's the last video.